This is Galeno, played by Andy Garcia on Landman, except for now he's calling himself
Dan Morrell. Danny. Although my wife calls me Dan when she's mad at me.
Either way, he's not to be trusted.
I'm not going to sit here and discuss the nuance of oil exploration with a f***ing drug dealer, okay?
But I gotta say, Dan or Galeno or whatever he's calling himself, he's pretty dang charming. And his wife?
Oh, buonasera.
This is my wife, Bella.
Okay. We're gonna get to all of that because even though Season 2, Episode 3 of Landman was light on relevant action, it was a big pivot episode. The title of this video refers to an Angela problem. Early guesses? Right here. Listen, I'm a big fan of Angela and Ainsley and the actresses that play both characters. But early on, something very, very important is missing. Subscribers know that we don't waste your time, and we don't just insult people here. My hope is that fans and critics of these two will agree with me. Yeah, that's kind of a narrow target, but hang with me. Additionally, this video is going to go deep on what happened to Dale, Boss, and the boys out of that oil well.
You gotta put this on! You gotta put this on!
And we'll work together to try to understand Cami's problems. This is storyline number 1, and we've been saying that since before Season 2 began. At the very end, we'll go over the soundtrack for Episode 3, but as a bonus, we'll answer one of Landman's most nagging questions. Why do Ainsley and Cooper hate each other so much? So far, Season 2 of Landman has spanned just 3 Landman days, which to me makes it feel like watching Jack Bauer on 24. Sam Elliott's TL was nowhere to be found this week, which was a little bit of a bummer. Cooper was barely a part of it as well, aside from a scene in which Tommy calls him and tells him to quit drilling at well number 7.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
You don't know this guy.
That happens after Tommy's meeting with the devil, but back this train up because it's possible you forgot why we're here.
You know who this is?
No.
That's your new partner. And it's a real f***ing problem, son.
That clip was from Episode 2 last week. Tommy decides to protect his son by meeting with the cartel boss. So now Tommy is off to Fort Worth to meet with Dan Morrell. Yep, I'm air quoting because I'm not sure I know his real name. The meeting's about that shady investment deal he made with a 22-year-old named Cooper. Real talk. Does anyone else get anxiety thinking about the time and money he's wasting driving that MTEX truck back and forth from Midland, Odessa to Fort Worth? I Googled and found out it's 313 miles one way in a truck that it's seen some things. Sure, he's rich, but save $1 or $2, right? I think Tommy needs to learn about Easy Rent, the sponsor of today's video, but we'll get there. Dan tries to say he made that deal with Cooper as an apology for what happened at the end of Season 1, but just 60 seconds later, his mood changes.
Every time you take a f***ing breath, you owe me. That thing I spared you from, I can give it back anytime I want.
Put a pin in that. He resurfaces in the second half of the episode to witness Tommy and Cami meeting with an accountant at the Cattlemen's Club.
Problem you have in the corner there, I can help you with that.
And let's break down what that's all about. After an all-nighter at Monty's office, Cami calls Tommy to her because...
Well, the abridged version is this. I now know why Monty was so stressed. The company has no money.
Sometimes Taylor Sheridan gets really granular with business details, and he does it at warp speed. Yellowstone was known for this, and if I'm being honest, I both love it and kind of hate it. It makes these shows smarter and more interesting, but sometimes the explanations just go right over my head. I got a feel for this one, however.
MTEX is broken into various LLCs. All revenue is paid into an M. Miller holdco, theoretically, with money flowing down to the various LLCs.
Theoretically.
Right, theoretically. The problem is this wasn't happening. Instead, Monty was covering all of these expenses with bank loans, and those loans are all maxed out. None of the accounts they have access to have any money in them, which means there is a secret account that only Monty and a man named Alan Thompson know about. So, we're off to find Alan Thompson, who, after a few drinks get thrown in his face and a bottle gets broken over his head, tells us this.
Revenue gets paid into a holding account. From there, it funds an offshore drilling company out of Nassau.
We don't know anything about any offshore drilling company.
Well, it was his company. He didn't owe you a goddamn explanation.
pin it all for next week because the rest of this group's evening is spent having a pretty heartwarming conversation with Dan Morrell and his wife Bella. Everyone gets good and drunk, maybe too drunk.
Friendship is earned.
Yeah, so serious.
Have to say I do like your wife, though.
What do you mean I like your wife?
Honey, we're leaving. We can fight in the car.
Damn right we'll fight in the car.
Okay, all right, that's enough. She needs a timeout. And I want to be fair to her, this show, and your opinions, so I'm not just going to lock and load here. Instead, I want to take a more thorough look at what she's brought this season. There was this drama during episode 1. Then there was this drama in episode 2.
When I say sit down, I mean
The YouTube gods will absolutely punish me if I show you what she tried to do early in episode 3, so I'm just gonna skip ahead to this scene.
I want to make an offer.
I can't afford that bathroom, honey.
Can't even afford the tiles in that bathroom.
Remember, while Tommy and Galeno talked, she was house hunting in Fort Worth because Ainsley is going to start up at nearby TCU in the fall and she wants to be close to her baby girl. As a dad, I 100% understand that, and this may surprise you, I totally think she should get the house that she wants. But I need another perspective, so I'm going to bring in my Dutton Rules podcast co-host Addison Hager to tell me I'm being foolish. Addison, are you team buy the house or team pinch pennies?
Oh, I'm team pinch pennies without a doubt. Look, I'm a Tommy. Let's save where we can. If we have money left over, sure, go buy that designer bag, buy that bigger home. But Angela is acting like this money is never gonna run dry, and all I can say is, honey, money doesn't grow on trees.
Yeah, but a house is an investment, right? They spend a ton of money today. 5-10 years, it's gonna worth like 20% more than that.
I mean, maybe, but if I'm Tommy and I'm asking her, like, babe, let's compromise here and there. I mean, marriage is about compromise, right? Like, she can save.
Yeah, okay, so maybe they need to find a more sensible ride back and forth from Midland, Odessa to Fort Wayne, that kind of thing?
Exactly. You know what? They need easy rent.
They do need easy rent. EasyRent.com offers new cars at unbeatable values, and the trick is they're just off airport, so there's no pressure to add some of those outrageous markups.
And there's a shuttle service to take you right to your car. Smooth and simple.
And priced for humans, not major oil company CEOs. So, if you got some travel coming up, tap the link in the description section, go to EasyRent.com, and go ahead, compare costs with another car rental provider. You'll be pleasantly surprised.
You said new cars, right?
That's right, no jalopies. So if you've got an Angela Norris in your life, they've got a BMW, they have some Audis, some nice and high-end vehicles in addition to normal person cars, your minivans, your sedans, your Jeeps, your pickup trucks, those kind of things. It's the same fleet you're going to find anywhere.
An affordable BMW? Yeah, that sounds nice.
I knew there was an Angela Norris in there somewhere. Easy Rent has locations all across the U.S. Visit EasyRent.com if you're a traveler on a budget. Save that money for the fun stuff.
Like a $10 million house in Fort Worth?
Sure. Listen, like I said, I don't mind the drama and the excess, but it needs to be part of something bigger.
I sure like your wife.
Honey, come on.
What the f*** is
Honey,
that?
all
You
right.
want to do a little sampling of the Italian buffet? And you want to get your salsa
You are so...
That right there was the line in the sand for me. Someone needs to say it. Angela has crossed the line from character to caricature, and I think that's a real problem. During season 1, we got a lot of this, but we also got moments of depth, like when Cooper is in the hospital or when Tommy comes home all bloody. There was a lot of growth for her, but also for Ainsley, and so far this season, I've defended both characters, feeling pretty confident that they'd find some purpose. Where are you at with these two? If I'm being a jerk, just tell me below and I'll pick out the best comments for Tuesday's episode of the Dutton Rules podcast. I'm not a prude, but their unpredictability is becoming predictable, which I guess brings us to another frustrating sequence.
Is Cooper coming?
Yeah?
Dad, he's so gross. He smells like hot dogs.
What is it with these two? I kind of thought we'd get a sense that their hatred for one another was nested in some childhood trauma. They give serious Yellowstone Beth and Jamie vibes. And if you recall, we wondered for most of 2 seasons what was going on there, before a flashback episode that revealed that Jamie was pretty much the reason she can't have kids. I don't have any sense that there's a singular incident like that, in large part because actors Jacob Laughlin and Michelle Randolph have no clue either.
We really get along well, and then it's like we sit down and have to hate each other, and we look at each other every time and go, why?
Why? We keep asking.
We don't know either, but we think it will come out.
Shout out to viewer James for pointing me to that clip from Paisley Fest in New York. I'm gonna trust Taylor for about 3 more episodes, maybe 4, but that's it because fans of his show know that for every brilliant explanation, we also get loose ends like Lugnut Boy. If you know, you know. Episode 3's soundtrack is next, but another pretty technical sequence deserves some explanation before we get there. If you recall, Tommy asked Boss and his crew to check out a field they were thinking of buying last week. That exploration mission happens during episode 3.
Run! I got an H2S leak at Kiowa Field 5272. Send hazmat and EMS.
Dale said that he has an H2S leak, as in hydrogen sulfide, and according to OSHA, that stuff will mess you up big time. At low levels, it smells like rotten eggs, but the smell changes as the concentration increases. 10 parts per million is permissible in certain industries, but the symptoms that these men are experiencing start at 100 parts per million, which is about 10 times that. However, it would seem the problem is much, much worse because instant death occurs at 1,000 to 2,000 parts per million. That's what we see happen during this episode's introductory sequence. It's worth noting that this will not add to the legal troubles MTEX is having because they were only looking to buy the well and don't own it yet. Whew. By the way, CMA award-winning Red Clay Strays were featured during that opening sequence. That was their song Ramblin'. Later, as Ariana is working at her new job at the Patch, we hear Larry Fleet's Taking the Long Way. And then at the very end, there was a song that actually stumped Shazam.
Everything about this place has changed.
Do you know it? I'm Billy Dukes for Taste of Country. Thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing.